Welcome to the Bell 412 API mod. External and flying wise, no changes. It's still the same X-Trident Bell 412. Big change is in the cockpit. So let's go in the cockpit. Alright, as you can see, we've changed the nice board display units. And this model has the Garmin 750 as well. Alright, first thing we'll do is remove the before. We'll go to that and remove before flight, so I don't forget later when we start the engine. Alright, batteries 1 and 2 on, and as we'll be sitting for a while, I'll put the ground bars on as well. Acknowledge, stop it flashing. Alright, first thing we'll do is setup. So we go to comp, and you see is a main button, and here we can set millibars or inches of mercury, and you just press. This is the remote rotary input device, or RID. Right, so if I talk about RID, this is it. Click it and it changes to inches. Click it again, back to millibars. You can go down, change the pointer. So if I go to, so this pointer is a crossbar at the moment, and we click on it, we change it to delta wing. And if we go down again, at the moment we've got temperature in centigrade. We change it Fahrenheit, back to centigrade. And also fuel. At the moment it's in kilograms. We can change it to pounds, and we got pounds now. Back to kilograms. In the library config file, you will find the command radar altimeter. If radar altimeter is there, it's in kilograms. If there's nothing, by default it is in pounds. So you can change your display pounds or kilograms. We'll go back to flight. Here we'll go back to 8 gas. If you've flown the Bell 429, then the rest of the display, all the airspeed and everything's the same, the arc. One difference is if you've got the terrain plug-in, you can then select over here. You got the terrain radar, or you can have weather radar, and that will be on all the displays. And also if we go, it'll be this way. Also with the plug-in, leave that off. We can have topo or topographical or terrain, and both, or just terrain, or off. And if we want weather, we just have weather on here. At the moment you don't see anything in the weather because it's a nice fine day. Go back. Right. The other things that are in here, we got a systems page, weight and balance. It shows you the weight of the aircraft, and this only mainly the fuel will change. The actual weights you cannot change at the moment, maybe in the future. Electrical schematic. You see the inverters are still off, so if I switch off on the inverters, I'll switch the lights on as well. Non-essential bar, and that when we get the generators on, you'll see that go. And then we got a fuel schematic. So we see the engines are out, valves are, cocks are off. So We go down here. Now the fuel panel's slightly changed. We got less switches to throw. So put those three on. Put those three on for number 2 system. You'll see now it's all gone green. It's ready to start. The other pages on the systems are the same as the Bell 429. Nothing's really changed. Maybe in the future I'll add things, but at the moment it's only the 3 that has anything. With the 421 API there's an extra page which is in the systems. It's the drive systems, and this will give you the engine and hydraulic system person. And on here, if any of the chip detectors on the engines or gearboxes, you will get a warning here of chip detector warning. Well, at the moment we still got reds and yellows, so we're not started. Alright, back to ACAS. The crew alerting system is this display, and each computer we're in comp mode. So we got computer display of any failures or warnings. At the moment it's 10 lines. When we start up, you can press the button here, it goes to 4 lines or 10 lines. That's the 2 center display units. You can do 10 lines or 4 lines. As you've seen earlier, radar, map. Also, if we switch on the flare, give it a few seconds to warm up. And there we have the flare. Alright. We'll go back to map. Then if you've got AB tab plugin installed, then you can go and have the map, and the map can display on either of these 2. They're independent of each other. Well, that's AB tab, and you've seen the systems. So we comp, where you get everything. ECAS. Alright, we will just start up the 750 on here. If I select, you see Garmin FMS1, it's in the test. I'll put it full. I'll select number 2.
HTOS test OK.
Right. So we've switched on there. Next thing we have to do, we'll switch on the anti-call light that we're starting engine. Open the throttles and then onto the stop. It's just a matter of clicking and the engine starts up. And the switch automatically goes to the center. Start number 2. And both engines are started. You can switch the generators on now. Switch. Well, I'll go to electric so you can see the schematic. So the generators are online. I'll switch the GPA off and that goes offline. Next thing to do is Autopilot 1 and 2 on. Now we'll go to flashing lights, increase throttles, so throttles are going up. So RPM's running up. You can cancel the warning there. Now we're coming up. We'll go to 100%. On collective here we can go to 103. That's will be required if you're going to take off at full load at high altitude. Just clear up the message sign. Right. I'll put the map on here. So all the displays you've seen on here are repeated on here, apart from the map page or the R page. Map is there. All this is Copilot, the same as Bell 429. If you ever flown that, the model I made for that, you will see that these displays do the same things. Right. Oh, we're all ready to take off. Go back to engine. Now, for those that haven't flown the 429, what you have here is a power situation indicator. Now this needle actually represents 6 inputs. So you get NG, MGT and torque Q. So it's temperature, NG. Now whatever one of the green boxes around, you can see it's on temperature at the moment. That's what the green needle is pointing for. The top, now the values don't really mean much, but what it is the top 12 o'clock position is max continuous. So when this needle reaches the top, that's a max continuous. And whatever one's highest, the green box will move up to torque or down to NG. So as we pull power, you will see it switch to torque, and when you get to the top, you're on max continuous. If you go over, it'll go red, yellow, depending on what situation you're in. So let's take off now. Alright, what I do is go to reset the clock. We'll start take off. Increase in collective. Nice gentle takeoff. Then forward. As you can see, we're on to torque now on here that's reading. Right. And away we go. Right.
Caution, obstacle, obstacle.
100.
So we're climbing at 1,000 feet. I'm on now. Used to climb a bit. Engage autopilot. So all I did was press couple, which is I've set a button of control, but this is the couple button here. So when you press that, it automatically engages vertical speed, synchronizes the heading mode, and airspeed. And you see on here on the AL, our airspeed is 95, you can adjust the airspeed. And if we click up here on here, we got vertical speed, and we can adjust rate of climb. So we're climbing out at 500 feet per minute at 80 knots. And you see the altitude is slowly increasing. There was no need to set it beforehand. Now, if we want to change the heading, we just rotate the heading bug, which is this one down here. Alright, I've mapped it onto my joystick so I can just heading bug left and right. Alright, we're reaching when we get to 1,000 feet. So you don't need to set anything. We get 1,000. Click. And it engages whatever height you're at. So go at altitude 1,000 feet. And I click on here, we've got 80 knots, so we can increase that to 110 knots. So as you see, it's increasing. We got a little bug on here. So whatever readings on the you got on the corner here. Alright, we're at 1,000 feet. We're accelerating to 110 knots. Our ground speed's 107. Alright. We want to go direct. Well, direct to. And let's select an airport. On Barton. Right. Activate. And then on here, click on map. And we'll start turning and heading towards Barton. Earlier on you heard 100 feet call out. I'll put in a button here so you can select 100 feet, 150 feet, or switch it off so you don't get a call out. The other thing is decision height. When we come down to 200 feet, you'll get, when the decision height comes on, you'll get check height audio call out. If you set your decision height to 0, you won't get it. During an ILS approach, if you this sets what time when you're doing your approach, when it switches over to approach mode. So by default it's 200 feet. Alright, we've decided we're not going to go to Barton. We're going to go, and we'll put our compass on east. So at the moment we're at FMS1, we'll go on the heading mode. So we're now following the heading. We put this on nav1, which is tuned into the. Alright, I'll deactivate this. So we're now flying back to the airfield. Right. We're at 1,000 feet now. Alright, to go to 2,000 feet, there's several ways you can do it. Alright, if you click on the Alt, you see it's 1,000 feet. You can adjust here slowly, or on here you can select altitude select. Alright, and the little white dot means we're going to change to thousands. If you rotate it now up to 2,000 feet, if you press the button, it puts the white dot at different, so you can set 1 foot, 10 feet. Alright, so we're at 2,000 feet. As you can see here, the vertical speed mode we're in now, we're at 0 vertical speed, and out is in white, which is armed. So you can either set your vertical speed, so we click on there, it's at 0 at the moment. We could adjust here, maximum here, under here, or we can press Alt Q, and away we go. Now, because we're at 110 knots, we'll slow down 100 knots. As you can see, the torque is right. We're on max continuous power at the moment, climbing. When we get to 250, you hear the altitude call out. That's at 250 feet. It will be 250 feet before and 250 feet after. So if you go above it, you get this. So we'll set 2,000 feet. So at 2,250, you get altitude call out again. So we're actually in altitude mode, and it's locking onto that 2,000 feet. That's right. Change the speed again, so click on there. Speed up to 110. Now what I'm going to do is ILS approach back into the airfield. At the moment we're only 2.6 miles away from the airfield, so we'll get a bit further out. Alright, if you get a fire, red light will come out of here. What the procedure to do is you have to lift the gate. And you'll see arm, of course the red light will be on saying you've got a fire, and then you press the button and it fires off the extinguisher. Hopefully puts your fire out. And then you're on single engine conditions and you have to fly with one engine. Right, you can actually switch all the different systems as you. There you go. So you can check the systems, check the fuel, so the fuel's all evened out and counting down. Check the drives, all green. Electrical, all green. When you were on this page, you'll see that these nice screws are hydraulics and everything. If we switched off our hydraulic, you get a warning hydraulic, it goes red. Right, what we're going to do is turn around to intercept the now we're going to slow down a bit. .80 knots. Now what we want to do is press approach, and as you see, the glide slope and localizer are armed in white, so green is actual, white is armed. And by the looks of it, we may, because we're a bit close, capture the glide slope first. Well, there's glide slope captured. We're not start descending.
Altitude.
So you can see the altitude, call that at 250 feet below. Now we're captured onto the localizer, and we're starting to turn on to the localizer. If we look out the window, we see the airfield. We're nicely lined up with the runway. Now we have 3.8 miles to go. Oh, by the way, there's a fire
Engine.
test button added down there. Accept the warnings. We'll switch the London light on. Yeah. One other thing we didn't switch on, you switch pitot heating. You'll see pitot heaters on, and then after a few seconds that will go out. When you switch it back off again, you get warnings. Check that the heaters are working, and they will go out after a few seconds. Let's put it back on again. If you switch on the searchlight, you'll get a searchlight light come up there. So 2 miles to run, coming down nicely. And we've been flying 15 minutes so far. Oh, do you see my passenger? So when we reach this decision height, so as you can see, we're coming up to 200 feet right out. When we hit 200 feet, you'll see up here will change. Well, this is all done by the autopilot. I'm putting nothing into it. Are we coming up?
Check
Right.
height.
200 feet. We get a check height call. We're going into red out heading. So we're looking at 50 feet. We're still in airspeed. So the heading is synchronized to the runway. So we're coming down. And we can actually trim our heading a little bit. Right, now the next part is where a lot of people disconnecting the autopilot. Now, the way I do it is to have my collective fully up to start with. I have a button on my cyclic for disconnect. Switch to standby, and I click disconnect. And so that it collective regain control. I'm not a very good pilot. This part where I'll probably crash. Right, so I got it down eventually. Need more practice. Right, so closing down. Reduce the throttles to idle. Starts running down. Now, one of the things I've added in here, and the vent blower switch, if it's on, then it means the rotor brake is mapped to air brakes. If it's off, then you can grab it and pull it down. So if you've got this switch on, vent, right, I'm going to close the engines down now by switching off the fuel. So both engines are out. And we see rotor brake, and I can now use my air brake lever. And the idea is to stop it at the right. Well, it's supposed to be at 2 o'clock. Accept. Then it's a matter of switching the batteries off. Inverters off. AB tab is still on. There we have. Yeah. Move for flight. Well, I hope that helps in applying the Bell 412 EPI. Bye.